Hey guys, thank you for joining me for a quick snippet from the Buddha Belly Life podcast. We're going to be doing a special coaches feature on entrepreneurship, the last episode of August. And I just kind of want to share a little bit with you guys on what this is about. So if you don't know me, I am not just the podcast host of Buddha Belly and the author of the book, but I actually am the founder of the Holistic Wellness Coaching Academy, where we train new and existing coaches and professionals in holistic gut health and mindset strategy coaching. And one of the coolest things that we do at this school is we actually help them with the application piece of entrepreneurship of their business, growing what they already have or launching something that's new and whatnot. So I have the blessing of, I've had the blessing of working with a couple hundred entrepreneurial individuals starting businesses, specifically in the wellness arena. But I've done a little bit outside of that too. And I am one myself, so I get absolute joy out of doing this, right? I just got off a coaching call. We're talking final project with one of our students, and we're launching her, first step of her business. And then I just got to thinking, what is it that keeps people from starting this journey? I mean, I can't tell you how many people say, I so bad, I would love to have my own business. I would love to do XYZ for a living. Like, this is my dream. That's my dream, whatnot. Or even like a book. Oh, I'd love to write a book. That's so cool. And in all reality, I sit back individually a lot and I'm like, why don't you do it? Like, why not just do it? Or anybody can write a book. I promise you. We just republished Buddha Belly. It's gone under a publisher. It's done some rad things. But when I initially wrote that book, I wrote it on a tablet out of the driver's seat of my car. I self-published it. I paid to have it edited via my self-publishing. I mean, the thing cost me less than $500, and that was mainly for the editing because I spell like a toddler with learning challenges. And so, but I can write okay, so I wanted to write a book. So I did, right? There's nobody that's guaranteeing what level of success we're ever going to have, but why not start and just do the things? The best way to succeed at what we want is just to start doing it. So as on that topic, I thought we'd do, we're going to cover a little bit about entrepreneurship, specifically in the health arena, but cover some people's stories. I'll reference a few of my coaches or my certified coaches who are out there doing things now and tell a little bit about what they're doing. But I do want to share a few little tidbits with everybody because I'm really curious to get some feedback on this whole aspect. When it comes to being self-employed, when it comes to your dream vision or a job or that thing you really, really want, what is it that truly holds you back from doing it? Like, that's a question I really want to ask. I really want feedback on that before this podcast, and I will be addressing that in the podcast quite a bit. But I really want to know that. I know that I have insight on that via being a coach, via being an entrepreneur myself and the things that I struggle with, and have struggled with, and those pieces of my journey. But I want to hear a little more feedback as to what is it that makes makes people believe or too afraid to ever start? The fear of failure. I mean, if we really dissect the fear of failure, what is really behind that? Is it a fear of what people will think of us? Is it a fear that we'll jeopardize something like our safety, like our finances or something like that? Or is it a fear of figuring it out? Is it an overwhelm? Is it an overwhelm of figuring it out? Like, what is it that actually holds us back? Because why I love what I do so much is because I was really blessed to kind of grow up believing that anything was possible, that there was just no limitation, that life was limitless design. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without work. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. I've had a number of businesses that made me little to no money or, had a very little return on investment. I bought myself a lot of fun jobs, essentially, where I put in hours worth of work for, a small hourly rate, and that was a business, but it wasn't like a business that ran itself. But that's what led me to the things that eventually paid off more in my life and have been so fulfilling, So for me, I really want some feedback from you guys because I really want to know what it is that holds you back. Like, what is your ultimate vision? And this is what we go over with all the coaches. And I'll share with you about kind of how we've done this and where it goes for a lot of people. Is usually at the first meeting, the first time we're talking about, what their dreams are, where, I always say, what's your ultimate vision? If you could have anything, if you could have your dream business, if you could have your life look exactly what it looks like, time-wise, money-wise, fulfillment-wise, giving-wise, all that, like, what does that look like for you? Pretend you're being gifted it right now. So don't hold anything off the table, put it all on the table, and so they usually it'll get the wheels turning. Most people at least have at least a bit of an idea of that, even if they're kind of hesitant about it. And it'll get the wheels turning. And by the time we're off the phone, they're usually kind of motivated. It's like all of a sudden something's clicked that like, maybe they can do this. Like this is something they can do. And I love that part about my job. So then if they decide to come on like as a coach and be working with us and be starting that journey and take the first step towards making it happen, then they go through a process, and they do some of the business trainings and the masterminds, and they're training in the health stuff and the gut health and the mindset, and they're adding to their education, and they're practicing applying their education as they're using it. And then we get off, once they get done, then they always do a final project, and their final project is to basically, it's whatever they choose for it to be, but we do a brainstorming session where we figure out exactly, again, we revisit like what they want, where they're going, all that, and what we brainstorm what's the best thing we could do for a final project that will aid in the direction that they're going, to kind of put their foot out there, right? And so we've come up with some really cool stuff. So it's like, I've watched people, and we always encourage them to niche down, but I've watched people literally go from this hesitancy, this like, hey, I'm this really meek energy that's like, inquiring, that doesn't believe in themselves yet, that's like, all that, to being this empowered person with a plan and a goal and a design, and that's starting a business, or that's furthering a business, and that's putting their foot out there. And like, then I've watched them go from that to like, excelling in their business and like making money and like getting clients and designing their life and doing this huge dream. And the fulfillment piece that I watch so many coaches and people get when they chase their dream, it's not always coaches and wellness. That just happens to be what I work in the most. But the fulfillment piece that they get from that is just so, so powerful. So it always makes me come back, because I know what that feels like. I know what that first taste of success felt like. I know what that first taste of accomplishment, of hard work paying off, of, that click, that when that click happened for me. Once you experience that click, you can't unexperience it. Now you know that there's not a ceiling or a shelf over your head anymore. You know that you are your own limitation. And so once you've experienced that, it's really easy to be sincere when you're coaching other people in that, because you've seen it yourself and you've experienced it. But it also, I feel like, I know for me, it not desensitizes me, but removes me a little bit from empathizing and remembering what it felt like to not believe I could do something. And of course, there's other areas in my life where I feel like that's more predominant, so it allows me to relate. But I really want, if you guys are listening, if you don't follow it yet, the Buddha Belly Life podcast, it's, you can go to buddhabellylife.com. You can find it on most major platforms. I've got some incredible, very empowering, sessions on there recently. I go with top blacklister guests they're big on value, they're big on personality, they're big on the content they give, and their story is really incredible. And because I like a lot of power, they're short and sweet weekly episodes, but I like a lot of power in the episodes. So if you haven't caught it yet, go there, but feel free to find us. You can find BuddhaBellyLife.com. You can find out more about the school at hwcacoach.com or guthealthschool.com. But message us. Find me on social media. It's Buddha Belly Life. Brittany, Coach Brett, Brittany Oliver, whatever. But find me on there and tell me, like, what is it that freaks you out? On this last episode, this bonus episode that we're going to do about launching your dreams, what is it that holds you back? What is your biggest obstacle? Like, what is the biggest thing stopping you? That if that veil was lifted, if that obstacle was crushed, that you would proceed, you would seek out that dream, you would seek out that purpose, you would seek out that fulfillment. Like, what are the things standing in your way? And we want to dig all the way into that in this episode. So if you could do me a favor, please message through the site, email, comment via social media. I'm gonna ask some questions. Like I said, find me on Instagram, Buddha Belly Life, and do share, because I really, really want to spit some quality content in that last bonus episode. We only get a couple a year, so I want to do all that for you guys, and just thank you for helping this thing be such an amazing launch. So, all right, I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.